What would it take for humans to return to or create a paradise here on earth, to live a paradisiacal lifestyle? I think we have some answers. Stay tuned. I'm Professor Spira. I practice something called the Mucusless Diet Healing System. I've done so for over 23 years. I've helped thousands of people transform their lives using the simple yet very powerful tools found in the Mucusless Diet Healing System. And today I want to explore this idea of returning to paradise. Humans going back to a paradisiacal lifestyle. Many people associate paradise with living an immortal life, living a life of abundance, eating nothing but fruit, this fruitarian concept. You got Genesis 1:29. So that becomes the foundation of this type of discussion. But I want to explore a couple passages out of this great work that a lot of people haven't read. Folks are sleeping on it. Professor Arnold Ehret's Physical Fitness Through Superior Diet, Fasting, and Dietetics. Also a religious concept of physical, spiritual, and mental dietetics. So this is a little known book, started off being called Physical Culture, a couple different articles that Professor Arnold Ehret wrote that went out of print, and then I think right at this point, we're the only ones that still print this document. And even though it looks like it's small, but I guarantee you can read one or two paragraphs out of this thing and then just sit and contemplate it for the rest of the day. It's for as small as it is, it actually takes quite a long time to get through it because it's pretty heavy stuff. So a religious concept of physical, spiritual, and mental dietetics. I'm going to read the first two paragraphs. It had long been my desire to conduct a school dedicated to the teaching of the physiological transformation of humans, a new generation through the total elimination of every possible disposition for any disease whatsoever. A new type of human of paradisiacal health, wisdom, beauty, happiness, of unchanging youth. This was to be the key to the paradise, the passage to a heaven on earth. This was to be a life of distinction. No more loss of hair, no more decaying of teeth, wrinkle-free, viral, mentally alert, no more pre-senility, a new, godlike human beyond the possibility of disease, and an aspiration for a longer life with unlimited efficiency and endurance. Our goal may well encompass all of these muchly desired attainments. Amen. Come on now, Professor Arnold Ehret. People sleeping. People are totally sleeping on Professor Arnold Ehret. Man, they think it's just about fasting. Well, it's just about fruit. And then we come in and we emphasize transition diet. Other people, it's just about getting out of your deathbed, the cure for chronic illness, the cure for disease. We're talking about a total transformation of the human experience, the human reality, back to a concept of paradise that has been in numerous mythological stories over the years, that's passed down from generation to generation. The idea of godlike humans that don't age, that don't become diseased. Is that just some mythological concept of humans in a different time that were made up of some other stuff? Or is that still attainable? Are these echoes of our past of which we must return if we are to survive as a species? Come on now. Professor Arnold Ehret was the man. Folks sleeping right here. So let's break some of this down. Ehret says a new type of human of paradisiacal health. What are we talking about? So as it said in Genesis 1:29, as the characters of Adam and Eve are in the Garden of Eden, they are to eat of the fruit. 1:29, humans were to eat fruit if they ate anything at all, and animals were to eat of the vegetation in 1:30. Now these are, regardless of where you stand from a religious standpoint, I'm not talking religion here, we're talking about stories that have been passed down from generation to generation. What you believe about those stories and how you use mythology is up to you. Whether you talk about Genesis 1:29 or read a Seen Gospel of Peace or read the Bhagavad Gita or see what Buddha had to say. Pieces of this wisdom that we're talking about are throughout antiquity, but you have to have this filter and this level of consciousness to really pick up on it. and to understand what is the nature of this suffering that we found ourselves in. Is there a reason? Have we just been smited by the gods? Is Zeus doing this? Or are we just damnation? Is this the devil? Is it the devil that's making all this suffering happen? Or is it us? Did we break the laws? Regardless if we remember what the laws are or not, it's right there, Genesis 1:29. If you want those, that's a law. That's a physiological law. Given the first thing told to humans is a physiological law. Eat of the fruit and avoid the knowledge of pus and mucus life. There's a whole, we don't have to get into all the theosophy or theocracy and theological discussions of what the apple represents, the apple of knowledge, that kind of stuff. Knowledge of pain and suffering. If you eat the wrong thing, go right on down the road to pain and suffering. So this information, ancient wisdom, it's not just in the Bible. It's in all kinds of different places. But if you aren't plugged in to be able to basically interpret this esoteric wisdom, you're never going to get it. You will just think that the suffering is, there's a certain God that's responsible. Different ancient peoples would have this, or people today. Some people attribute different forms of suffering to different kinds of gods, different entities, cosmic beings. But what happens when you take full responsibility for your station in life, for your physiology, for your abiding by or going against the rule of law, the rule of physiological law for humans on this planet, which is vitality equals power minus obstruction, which means if you eat foods that obstruct your body, that fill your body with mucus and just halt your lymphatic system, you are going to suffer. And you will not just suffer physically, you're going to suffer mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. You will become stunted. It will stop you in your progress to realize your true potential as a human being, as a colored man being on this planet. People want to play games. They think that this is a game that's like, oh, well, loosen up, lighten up. It's Christmas. You can eat a little bit of this. It's Christmas. It's Thanksgiving. Loosen up. If there is a devil, that's what the devil would say. Loosen up a little bit. Eat this pus. Kill that animal and eat it. If you want to talk devil, if you want to talk about evil forces on this planet, let's talk about the serpent. The serpent is inside of you. The serpent is your intestines. And that's your intestines that's trying to get you to break the law until you conquer your own serpent. Every person on this planet has to conquer their own serpent until you conquer your serpent, your devil, trying to get you to eat dead animal flesh, trying to get you to eat cheese, casomorphin addiction, trying to get you to drink coffee, trying to get you to do all of these things that are diametrically opposed to the law. You don't have to be a law-abiding citizen, but when you're not, you have to accept the suffering that comes from breaking the rules, from breaking the law. Just because you don't know what the law is doesn't mean you're not going to suffer from it. Go to a hospital right now, go to a hospice, go to a nursing home, and you will see a plethora of people who have broken the law. And the amount and kind of suffering that is in there is unnecessary. I'm not saying that you're not gonna have suffering, that there's not the ups and downs of life, which you gotta get your mind hard enough to be able to deal with what life throws at you. But there's so much unnecessary suffering. I love the definition of chaos, where chaos is unnecessary process. We're living in chaos because there's so much of this suffering that is unnecessary. It's necessary to the extent that the physiological karma has to go through. You eat the dead animal that was suffering, that was scared, that was crying, that was maybe had been ripped away from a mother at some point. All those emotions. You kill that animal. What you just think that goes away, that's trapped in their tissue system, in their blood, and you're gonna eat that, you're gonna drink their blood and eat their flesh, and you don't think that you're gonna be depressed at some point in your life. You don't think that you're gonna come to a point where why am I having so much anxiety? Why do I need this coffee? Why am I addicted to tobacco? To try and cause yourself harm, when you're addicted to these poisons, it's from a karmic perspective, it's a way for you to continue to harm yourself. You're harming yourself in accordance and in alignment with the rules that you have broken. With every puff, you're shortening your life and you're causing future pain. With every drink of that coffee, you're causing future anxieties, destroying your adrenal glands. These are the laws. Don't be mad at the messenger. We figured something out. That's the difference. We have new information. Arnold Ehret figured something out. Then we came along and was like, well, let's do this and let's see what we can, let's find out. And many of us and many people that have gone down this path have figured out the same thing. What we're talking about, this Mucusless Diet Healing System path, it's different from a raw foodist path, from some of the fruitarian paths, vegan paths, or plant-based and all these kinds of things. Mucusless Diet Healing System is a true physiological, spiritual path of total transformation, body, mind, and spirit. And there's nothing like it. When I say a path, we probably have to define path. What is a path? When I use the word path, I'm drawing on an ancient definition of a way of life, a direction that gives you a framework, yet you still must walk it. Arnold Ehret created a framework for physiological transformation that also transforms you spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And when you are confronted with those challenges, and there's a lot of people right now practicing the diet, and one of their greatest challenges is the emotional challenges, the emotional obstructions that come up when you start to fast, that come up when you start to clean up your diet. And that's one thing that we talk about in our membership program. If you'd like to work with me, plug into a community of people that practice this way of life, go down below, click the link, join us at the Mucus-free Life Membership Program. But I'm seeing a lot of people are dealing with these emotional eliminations, all of these things. It's a path where when you continue to go down the path, the spiritual path, the physiological path, the path to physiological enlightenment, the path to physiological liberation, we are on a prison planet, prisoners of our own mistakes, prisoners of our own decisions. And I use the word mistake from the perspective of, if you're breaking the law, to me, that's a mistake, because you're going to create chaos, unnecessary process. If you believe that humans at one point did live and experience a paradise, for us to even have this concept, some people would argue that we must have experienced a paradise for us to be able to imagine something as such. Right now, we're stuck in the pus and mucus mind. When the pus and mucus takes a hold of the brain, the paradise for a pus and mucus person is a big banquet of pus and the ability to be gluttonous, which is a deadly sin. So some people's heaven, their concept of heaven is to be as gluttonous as you can be and not die and not suffer. That's what people really want. They want to be as filthy as possible and break as many laws, physiological laws as possible, eating the worst foods and not suffer, not get joint pain, not start to get headaches, not need a knee operation, not need a hip replacement. That's what people want. But that is never going to happen because that is against the fundamental laws. You can't change the law. You can't change physiological law. If you want to experience what Ehret's talking about here, godlike human, beyond the possibility of disease. What do we have to do? How hard do we have to work? What level of transformation do we have to get beyond the possibility of disease? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Mucus-free path is much deeper than you could ever imagine. It's much more profound than any esoteric religion that you've studied, and you find all this stuff, oh wow, this is really deep. This is really interesting, or this is, oh, I challenge you, get on this path for real. You really need to do this for an extended period of time. That's what it's about. Done this for 23 years. Brother Ehret, good friends, done it almost 50 years. So this takes time if you want that level of wisdom, if you want those revelations. You have to get on the path and then do the work. How bad do you want to experience paradise on earth? You know, I've talked about feeling good in your body. That's really what I'm talking about. Internal paradise, regardless of what's going on in the world. There's chaos everywhere because pus and mucus karma has to play itself out. So the wars are gonna happen. The murder is gonna happen. The rapes are gonna happen, unfortunately, until enough people get on this type of path. Everybody else is gonna die off. They're gonna die out. Who's gonna be left? They say meek will inherit the earth. Survival of the fittest will be those that abide by nature's laws in the long run. Physiological excellence. We're at such a low level right now. We've descended down in the depths of the pit of hell when it comes to physiology. None of this was ever supposed to happen from a physiological standpoint. There should be no such thing as a fast food restaurant. There should be no such thing as bars and all this kind of stuff. And again, people say, lighten up, Spira. Go have a drink, have some red meat, go have fun. That's the fun of hell. You're already here. People are like, I don't want to die and go to hell. Hate to break it to you. You look up and you see a billboard for McDonald's, and up the street there's a Taco Bell. You're in taco hell, my friend. I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you. Because just the fact of what we have to go through to push back against all of that influence, the path that we have to walk in this 21st century, what that looks like is a path of abstinence against the pus and mucus mobs, where you will be challenged. It's going to be pushed in your face. They're going to push the pus in your face. So, and try all these different tactics to get you to eat foods that will kill you. There's nothing paradisiacal about that. That's a hellish existence. But the good news is you can rise above the suffering on this plane of existence. It's not about changing. I'm not trying to change other people, the karma of it. It's like these things have to play itself out. I certainly can get out the way. Where am I at now? I'm in a pretty peaceful space. And right now they're outside of the comfort of these woods. Chaos is unfolding. Suffering is happening. There's nothing that I or you or anybody else can do about suffering that must take place. The karmic repercussions for a life not well lived. That has to happen. But we have the opportunity to take another path. And that is the path of the Mucusless Diet Healing System. That is the path of the paradise. Returning back to paradise, back to Eden, as some people say. And I'll leave you with this. A spiritual blindness has impelled our present so-called civilization to the current point of where it is rapidly becoming necessary to accept a sincere diet regime according to and based on our actual bodily requirements. It leads up to the solution of life's foremost problem, and it answers in the affirmative that great question: can we enjoy a paradisiacal existence on earth, or must all life be suffering? We still have time to adjust to nature's guidelines and reestablish our Garden of Eden so that humanity may once again live a natural, paradisiacal existence. To achieve this, humans must inevitably and intuitively return to the fruitarian diet, and through this change in both living conditions and food will come a spiritual regeneration. A condition which can only be brought about after the meek and humble once again inherit the earth. Transition. So I know Ehret says we have to return to the fruitarian diet. But please, one of the reasons I consider this book to be more advanced is because there's a lot of discussion about diet and fasting, but advanced discussions of fruit-only dieting, fasting as the omnipotent way to reconstruct the human. These are important principles and things to understand. But most people are at the level of the transition diet, mastery of the transition methodology. So ensure that you're checking out the Mucusless Diet Healing System book. go in there, read and reread and reread again the lessons on transition diet, and wherever you are with your transition, get started today. Make those changes, make those transformations, and you will be so glad that you did. And again, if you want to join us, a group of people that are on this path, the path to paradise, if you want to join us. Because some people want to, oh, you can't do that. Why not try? Does it make any sense to just relinquish? Say, I give up. I'm going back to Taco Hell, Burger King, going back to dead animals. Or what about try? Let's try. And there's a group of people that are trying, that are putting in the time, putting in the effort to return back to some semblance of rational society, rational civilization that's not based on pus and mucus forming foods, that's not based on and revolving around disease-causing foods. When you have disease-causing foods at the center of your lifestyle and your life and your society and your world, you will suffer the repercussions of eating the disease-causing foods. This is the they know not what they eat, they know not what they do when you are on the planet of the stomachs, where gluttony is number one. The number one deadly sin that is abided by here and has become normalized is that of the gluttony. So that's what we have to do. That's the work. That's the path. If you so choose, the challenge, if you so choose to join us on this path back to a rational way of life, I encourage you, go down below, click the link, join us at the Mucus-free Life Membership Program. You can work directly with me. We have Q&A sessions, accountability call sessions, a whole bunch of information that's not released anywhere else in the membership program, menu plans, recipe archives, all that good stuff is in the Mucus-free Life Membership. Go down below, click the link, join us. Thank you so much for tuning in. Give us a like and a share. The algorithms don't always favor us, especially videos like this. These aren't the favorite type of videos. If I'm doing something goofy, watching somebody stuff themselves to death or some kind of fight or something, those do really well. But when you're having a serious conversation about true transformation and liberation of the human spirit and human soul and human body, we don't get no help there. So any help that you can provide, helping us push this message out there to more people, to be able to help more people, because not everybody, as Brother Ehret says, not everybody's a zombie. And so not everybody is just going to turn this information off or turn this message off. Not everybody wants to live a life of suffering. So I thank you so much. Till next time, peace, love, and breath. Before you go, right here, it's another video handpicked for you. Click right here, and I will see you over there. Peace, love, and breath.